Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning. If you ever miss one of these shows, you can catch them at www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. That's where we upload all of the audio and video versions of this show. I am announcing today that we are canceling the afternoon show. Just wasn't really getting the traction that we had hoped for. If you're one of the morning and afternoon viewers, you can always watch this show. If you miss the morning show, you can watch this one in the afternoon if you'd like. Of course, the traffic and weather won't be the same, but we will still have the morning show 5 mornings a week. So again, appreciate you joining us. We're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We're also once a week in print on Thursdays, and we post online. Jumping into the traffic this morning. Pretty commiserate with the weather, which we'll get into. Baton Rouge, minor delays after the 10-12 split. Those heavy delays are going to last all the way until about Millerville, and they are backed up past Juban. Heavy delays on Watson as that traffic tries to bisect in front of Live Oak High School. It's currently 73 degrees. It's raining outside. It's raining hard. Those heavy clouds from the north just passed over our news building here. 75 is your high today, so it's not going to get much warmer. 53 overnight, so it's a lot of people got an early start to gumbo weather. This is gumbo weather. It will remain that way through about Saturday, and then it's going to jump back into the 80s and low 60s at night, and we're going to be fluctuating from there for a while. So this is looks like this might be the end of summer, and we're now moving into more fall weather. So we'll keep an eye on that. Patricia Street, who is a 28-year-old Denham Springs resident, turned herself in yesterday afternoon after a hit and run yesterday morning in Denham Springs at the corner of Pete's Highway and Edgewood Drive. It occurred roughly between midnight and 2 a.m. Ms. Street told the police department that she had no idea she had hit somebody. There was some circumstantial evidence to that would show that it would be pretty hard not to notice. At any rate, she did turn herself in yesterday after someone noticed her car in the Walmart parking lot heavily damaged. So she is currently in custody. We're awaiting some transfer and hearing procedures on that one. A little news about the assessor's office. There was a report Monday night that the assessor's office is currently under investigation by the Louisiana Legislative Auditor. That is incorrect. The Legislative Auditor, as well as the Board of Ethics, have to investigate or at least analyze every complaint that comes in, every single one, regardless of source or what it says and that kind of thing. From there, they make a determination on whether or not they hold a workshop, if they have to sit down with the investigatee, I guess you can say, or the person being investigated, or if they're going to come in full bore and do a full financial wrap and investigation. Right now, none of that's happening. They're in the investigative stage of the complaint, and we'll see what happens there. But currently, the assessor's office is not under active investigation by the Louisiana Legislative Auditor. A little bit of piddly language there, but it is true. And they may decide that they're not going to do anything. It very much depends on what kind of evidence they have and what the complaint states. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Last night, the Denham Springs, I guess you could say Denham Strong, and recovery coordinator Jeanette Clark, as well as building inspector Rick Foster, and a few council members were there as well, held their final public hearing for the bikeped plan, trying to give some final ideas on their 4 different types of lanes, and trying to give some ideas of which one's priority over others, which one's cheaper, how to find funding, that kind of thing. We'll be coming out with some maps as soon as Gresham Smith, as soon as they get those maps completed. And we're going to send them out to the public, trying to get public comment. So we'll be interested to hear your thoughts on the bicycle pedestrian master plan that Gresham Smith comes out with. Again, we'll be trying to release those maps and such as soon as possible and give you the public time to respond during this open feedback period. Walker received a $250,000 grant from the Conservation Society, Land and Water Conservation. They will be using it for a special needs park at Sidney Hutchinson next to the Challenger Field. We'll have special fencing, special flooring, much like the Challenger Field itself. It won't be coming until next year. They're going to try to get it on next year's budget because they will have to, there's a potential that they might have to match them up to $250,000 dollar for dollar. So we will see how Walker handles that, but they're very excited. Excuse me. Chief of Staff Jamie Etheridge talked to Kevin Fambro yesterday, and they kind of walked around where it's going to be. And he said he's already lobbying the council to put this on the budget. So it will be interesting to see where they turn out with that one, and whether or not it's able to get on the budget for next year if they have to do a special amendment, that kind of thing. Economist Lauren Scott is speaking to LEDC tonight, or this afternoon. I say tonight because it just looks like night outside. A renowned economist from LSU. He does a lot of Baton Rouge area and Louisiana-wide economic outlooks, projections, that sort of thing. So he'll be coming to talk to Livingston Economic Development Council's quarterly meeting today at Forest Grove. That'll start at 11:30. It'll end at 1. He usually has some pretty interesting things to say about the oil patch, whether or not there are any emerging markets here, that sort of thing. So be interesting to see what he has to say. Stay tuned for that. Central Volleyball swept Denham. Tough way to follow up that football game from Friday. Denham gave it a valiant effort in the first set, tried to come back in the second, and then Central put them away in the third. So sorry to the Lady Jackets. Walker Swimming had a good turnout. It helped give them some higher placings. They continue to improve. Springfield travels tomorrow night, Thursday, so we will be trying to get our football show out tomorrow morning, so you can get a hear on that. They're going to Thomas Jefferson, so wish them luck. This past Saturday, and it kind of, a lot of times it gets lost in the shuffle with all the festivals and everything going on that Saturday. And I'm sorry, this was actually about 10 days ago. This was the Saturday of the fair, of election, the Fall Fest. What was also going on at first thing in the morning was the blessing of the animals at St. Francis Episcopal Church in Denham Springs. St. Francis is the patron saint of animals. The story is that a wolf was terrorizing the town, and he went out into the woods and found it, gave the symbol of Christ, and the wolf laid down and let him bless him. And then supposedly the wolf went away, I guess, because St. Francis still exists, or at least existed after the story. So every year St. Francis hosts a blessing of the animals. Most people bring dogs and puppies. Some people bring cats and kittens, though, to get blessed by Father Dan Krutz. And that's over here, actually, behind the Catholic Church. It's on Poplar Street in Denham Springs. If you're thinking about coming next year, it happens in and around late September, beginning of October. It's a fun event. Dr. Krutz loves his animals, Reverend Krutz loves animals, and really gets into having fun with them. Hot dogs are free of charge at the event, sort of to go along with what's happening. And it's a lot of fun. There's also a photo gallery up. Mr. David Gray got a ton of photos of that. So please check that out, www.livingstonparishnews.com/living. One more time around with your traffic if you missed it earlier. Looks like pretty much the same. Heavy delays on I-12 eastbound, backed up past Juban Road. Now it's getting very backed up at Juban and 190. Delays at Walker South 447 and 190 as folks finish dropping their kids off at high school. Some minor delays on North 447 at 1025. Minor delays on 64 heading into Central, but some heavy delays. As we all know, when the interstate starts stacking up, people try to flow on the 190. Heavy delays are starting to appear. Rushing Road, 4-H Club Road, 190, and River Road. Everybody knows that's where those four come together. On the eastern side of Denham Springs, that is starting to stack up pretty heavily. It's currently 73 degrees. It is raining, and it's going to rain most of today. It's also going to bring the temperature way down. It's only going to get up to about 75 today. Low of 53 tonight, gumbo weather. And we're in that fluctuation time where it's going to get a little warm and then a little cooler, a little warm, a little cooler. But this is it's looking like this is going to be the end of summer and the real beginning of a Louisiana fall. So, again, we have canceled the afternoon show. We just weren't getting the traction there. If you ever miss these shows, we will have all the information on the morning shows 5 days a week. You can always watch it in the afternoon. We do post the audio and video versions at www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print. We are also online. Gave you that URL earlier. Appreciate you checking us out there. My name is McHugh David, publisher and the editor of news. Thanks for joining us on this hump day. We do appreciate it. Please try to stay dry. Stay safe if you're driving around a lot today, and we will catch you tomorrow morning.